Hello and welcome to a special E3 edition of SentUAMessage. We took your questions and put them straight to the developers of the games you want to know about at the biggest gaming event of the year, the Electronic Entertainment Expo in Los Angeles, California.
Are you going to ask me about my hat?
Not really interested in that. So,
well, first up, it's not a hat, stupid.
I didn't say it was a hat.
No, it's a parallax beam signal channeling helm. It's part of my new religion that I joined when I was in LA. I'm sure you've heard of it. Gloryism. Yeah, well, it's really a very spiritual belief system. Yeah, there's loads of hilarious stuff we can go into detail, throughout the course of
I'm going to get a drink, so you just
Are you
kick
sure?
things off.
You sure?
No, yeah.
The religion was started by Judge Reinhold, who decided he wanted to pay... No, it's gone. All right, well, as Andy said, all of today's answers come straight from the developers at E3 in glamorous Los Angeles, and as we all know...
I was there.
Yeah, I was. It's just not the same. Oh well, I'll just sit here and reminisce about the Xbox media briefing until he gets back.
This is so cool. Fist bump.
Lightsaber on!
Unleash the simulated family. Very lifelike.
All right, here we go.
Fist bump.
Boom! You're killing me. You got to get open. Yes! Take a job.
Fist bump.
What are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I was just lost in a day meme. Okay, Kiss Kiss Bradford Kiss Kiss has been justly impressed by the footage of Battlefield 3 single player, but wants to know more about the multiplayer side of the game.
So we loaded that question into an M16A2 and pointed at Patrick Bach, executive producer at DICE. Then we just asked him it. We're not monsters.
On the show floor here, we're showing a mission called Operation Metro, which actually opens in a park. That's a bigger part. It's not as big as one of the the bigger maps that we have in the game. We have some huge maps that I haven't shown yet, which are jet infested, together with tanks, together with helicopters. So those will be huge, those maps. But then we have maps that go from bigger to smaller in the same map. So we have the rush mode, for instance, where you actually progress through a map. So it's more like a journey rather than an arena. And that's also the power of what we can do with the Battlefield 3.
We're pleased to announce that Jake Morris has won the annual SentUAMessage Award for innovations in question posing. It was a close-fought competition, but he clinched it with this gem, which concerns the possibility of new downloadable content for Call of Duty Black Ops. How does he come up with this gold?
Yes, incredible. Well, we can only hope that this answer lives up to your lofty standards, Jake. Right, the third downloadable content pack for Black Ops is called Annihilation, and in a drastic departure from previous add-ons, comes with 4 new multiplayer maps and a new zombies map that no doubt features some of the most obscure achievements known to man.
Now, we caught up with the minds behind Annihilation at E3, who gave us a quick rundown of the new environments that I'll soon be getting killed repeatedly in.
So the first map is called Drive-In. It is a small and medium range size map with lots of independent battle spaces.
Yeah, and Hangar 18 it's a medium-sized map. It's based in the Area 51 test site in Nevada, and it's got a lot of cool little Easter eggs.
I got Hazard. So Hazard is a luxury golf course in Cuba with some good lanes down the fairway.
And Silo is set in Russia. It's actually a nuclear warhead construction site. It's probably the largest map that we've done in the game.
Annihilation will make its debut exclusively on Xbox Live on 28th of June worldwide. If that hasn't quite slaked your thirst for knowledge, look out for even more from this interview in a future episode of Insider Moves. Okay, next up, Mark McGregor Davidson keeps things specific by asking the deeply incisive question, Hitman. So Dan shouted the word Hitman at Christian Elverdam, gameplay director of IO Interactive, until he said this.
Hitman!
No, not that, this.
I think it's very safe to say that we have a lot of levels in the game that are more typical Hitman levels, where you start kind of surveying your surroundings, kind of planning your point of entry, if you will, or your plan of attack. But we also have elements when the story kind of asks for it. We will kind of dictate a little bit what's going on. The library you saw is still super free. You can pick a lot of different paths, and there's a lot of different ways you can go about it, from being kind of silent assassin and unseen to actually full-blown combat with SWATs, because the police can kind of call for backup. So, but we still set the pace a little bit there, right? And that's something we've allowed ourselves to do in small passages, because we really wanted the story to be a little bit more present than it was previously.
Keza Ward is slightly more explicit than our double-barreled Hitman fanatic, but that's not saying much. What's more worrying is the way he seems to associate the dissemination of new information with the provision of illicit substances. So, if we answer this question, does that make us enablers?
Probably, but if knowledge is a drug, I'm never going to stop dealing, am I right?
Yeah, fist bump!
Fist bump!
Good times. Okay, here's Irrational Games' Ken Levine with the goods.
The first thing we want to do is tell a story, right? Because I think a lot of demos are focused on features, and this demo is actually part of a level. This is the end of a level called Emporia. You know, it's the ending sequence of a level called Emporia. So there's a story in this demo. This is a story of Elizabeth, and it's a story of Booker and Elizabeth, and a story of sacrifice. But it's also a story of being on the skylines. It's also a story of the Vox Populi. It's also a story of certain vigors and searching for loot and all those BioShock things. And so we try to cram a lot in there. And I think people say to us like, dude, there's a lot going on in that demo. But I think that, I'd much rather pack more ideas in there than not enough.
Now, this is more like it. Andy Hardy 360 Twitteralized us with a question on F1 2011 that's so detailed that we don't actually have any idea what he's talking about. So we'll leave it to Codemasters Stephen Hood to spare our blushes.
A lot of people have been asking for the safety car to be back in Formula One. We were quite surprised at the start of the season. It didn't really turn up until Monaco and just completely changed the race. So we're aware of the fact that people want that. If we feel we can do it justice, it might turn up at some point.
How about the differing systems that the different race teams use? I've seen mention of the Red Bull KRS system, for example.
Yeah, all of that's in as well. So it's like DRS for the rear wing, which is kind of a real overtaking tactic in a real world of Formula One. That's replicated in our game. You can use it whenever you want in practice and qualifying. It gives you more speed in the straight, but it kind of drops some downforce.
GFC_Ben, another member of the Twitterati, keeps it simple and safe as he wonders how FIFA 12 is looking and asks us whether or not it'll have any new features over FIFA 11.
Well, I got a chance to see it at E3 and can report exclusively that it looks exactly the same and in no way adds any new game modes. That said, I may have it confused with FIFA 11, which is exactly the same as FIFA 11 on account of it actually being FIFA 11.
Yeah, but you spoke to someone who actually knows what they're talking about, right?
Oh yeah, I did indeed, Andy, and his name is David Rutter. This is him speaking now, look.
We think this is a pretty special year for us this year. We went out maybe a month ago and started showing off this version of the game, which is pre-alpha. It's pretty unheard of for us, but we think we got a pretty special year. Partly, we're talking about things at the moment, still got a lot to come, but partly because of that trinity of gameplay innovations that we've got, the kind of player impact engine, precision dribbling, and also the tactical defending. And then obviously E3, the big news from us on the FIFA team was the EA Sports Football Club, which is a massive deal for us. It's about you and your kind of persistent profile within FIFA, your friends' persistent profile within FIFA and football games, supporting your club, hearing the news, and obviously injecting real-world sort of challenges and stuff into it as well. So.
Would be good to get more info on Dead Island's features and multiplayer, says Sean Goldilocks Rowan, and while that's not technically a question, we do feel inclined to help out to make up for all the bullying you must have received in your school years over that middle name. So Dan talked to Peter Brolly, brand manager at Deep Silver, to get more info on this charming beach resort for the discerning undead, didn't you, Dan?
It's seamless, drop in, drop out. Player can drop in anytime they want. So you could, for example, just play with a few of your mates. One has to go for dinner, or the wife wants to watch TV or something, and then he can drop out. The rest of you guys can play. You can be at different levels, and then you could level up. And then your mate can jump back in as well, and the zombies will scale for the different amounts of players.
Andy, will there be an Elder Scrolls 5?
Oh, yes, it's called Skyrim. We've done loads on it.
Oh right, is there any news on it? I need info, thanks.
Weird, that's exactly what Danny B10U asked. And we put that question to Ashley Chang, producer at Bethesda Softworks, to find out more. Actually, you put that question to Ashley Chang. You told me you interviewed him for half an hour.
Oh, Elder Scrolls 5. Yeah, I did do that.
When we started the project, there were three major goals that we were focused on. It was brand new technology. We rewrote the renderer, the animation system. We wanted to, create these gorgeous mountains and huge vertical cities. Totally revamp the animation system so we have really cool looking combat, make third person more viable. The second goal was basically, the dragons, big, awesome boss creatures. That was also in the demo as well. And lastly, we kind of wanted to focus on the Elder Scrolls mantra of basically living another life. Play as you want to play. And so we get you right in the game. You don't pick a class. The game just tailors itself to how you want to play. If you want to be more of a mage, cast more spells. If you want to be a thief, do more sneaking.
And that's it for this week's show. But remember, your questions are the clown outfit that allows us to sneak undetected into the house of the guy we're going to garrote with some piano wire, so keep them coming into the gamertag Sent You a Message.
Hope we'll spot them amongst the rival companies' newsletters and debt consolidation spam cluttering up the inbox at sentyouamessage@hotmail.com.
Tweet yourself to @SentUAMessage.
Or like our wall writings at thefacebook.com.
Look out for the full interviews for all of the games covered in the show and plenty of others besides on Inside Xbox soon. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, that's unless Judge Reinhold's flying saucer returns from planet Grylax 4 next week and commences the judging as is prophesied.
Right, unless that. See you then.
I must now watch Beverly Hills Cop 2 to prepare for his return.
Yeah, you do that. See you later.
Axel Foley, vice versa, fast times at Ridgemont High.